So now we will discuss about this SD-WAN architecture, right? So basically we have discussed previously management plane, control plane, data plane. Those normally in legacy network we keep as a part of the single router, but here we are distributing, right? So this vManage is called is a like a management plane, right? And vSmart is a control plane, we can say. A vBond is an orchestration plane. So normally we use the vBond for authentication. So we will discuss about this, that what all the functionality for every component. But here the roughly you can understand these are the management plane and vSmart is a control plane. So vSmart is like your RR you heard about in your MPLS environment, who is responsible for the routing, and this edges is a data plane. So whatever we will configure on the vManage, the vManage will push to vSmart, and vSmart then change to the actual configuration and whatever policy you are configuring on the vManage. Those things will be pushed from the vSmart to the edges. So these three planes work like this. So this is the dashboard, how it looks like. It's a single pane of glass for all the operations, where you can see the how many vSmart is up, how many vEdge is down. Red means down, and this green arrow means up. And vBond, how many vManage you are using, last reboot. So I will go through the every option when we will build up our vManage, how it looks like, and what all option you can see here through the monitoring purpose, configuration, analysis, and if you want to change any settings. So whatever you will do on SD-WAN Viptela, you need to go through the orchestrator and you need to do all the configuration here only. You don't need to go to any specific edge. You will do all the configuration through the single pane of glass, and you will do all the operation configuration from here. Okay, so we will go every option when we will do the when we built our lab, and after that we will go to that one. Right now my lab is also not ready. I will not make it ready because I will do in front of you, and the same time step by step you can also follow your lab and you can build your lab also, right? Okay, so and there is a two way that you can deploy this component. Either is on premises. On premises, you can have images, vManage, vSmart, vBond. These are not a physical boxes. You need to have these images, and you can deploy any VMware ESXi server, any physical server. Or either you can ask Cisco that you please host it on this any of the cloud like AWS or Azure. So Cisco will provide you the functionality. They will deploy, and either if you have expertise, then you can deploy. Either Cisco will deploy, and they will provide you just login, username and password, and you can just manage from there. So there's a two-way. Either you can deploy on premises, either you can host it on the any of the cloud. These components, and how many vSmart, how many vManage, vBond you will be required. That's all on the basically the capacity management. We will discuss further that basically these three components are one must: one vBond, one vManage, and one vSmart. Other than that, you want to deploy two vSmart, three vManage, two vBond. It's depend on your basically your environment, that how many sites it's holding and how many sites you are having in your environment. So
Hello,
basic,
Sachin.
yeah,
V
yeah.
stand for virtual, right?
We stand for virtual, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, we can say Viptela, not for
Viptela.
virtual, because this now Cisco is saying Cisco SD-WAN, but initially this company started with the name of Viptela. So later on, I think 2017, I think Cisco bought this company, Viptela.
Okay.
So we stand for Viptela.
Okay.
So yeah, but good question. I've never think about this one. Okay, I will also find. Okay, so now we will discuss about this orchestration plane. What is the role of the vBond on this environment? So orchestrate connectivity between management, control, and data plane. Basically, we want provide the connectivity between the management, control, and data plane. It's a first point of authentication. Means any edge will try to join the fabric. This SD-WAN fabric, we say. So whenever any edge will try to join this fabric, the vBond will be the first point of authentication. It will first hit to the vBond, right? It requires the public IP address. You cannot keep a private because it should be discoverable or it is available on the internet. All other components needs to know the vBond IP or DNS information. Whatever your edges, vSmart, vManage, whatever the component you are using in your SD-WAN fabric, they should know the vBond, right? It's authorize all control connection. Basically, we do the whitelisting. So, and distribute list of vSmart to all edges. It also distribute the vSmart list to all edges. Whenever suppose you have two vSmart, suppose in this design there's three vSmart and you have one vManage. Any edge will try to hit to vBond. Then vBond redistribute the list of vSmart to that edge that we have three vSmart in our environment. You please find the details. You can save these details. So that's how it works. Or if you already having two, you are introducing later on the 3V smart according to your load that you have 1500 site or 2000 sites and there's so many tunnels. Basically, there is a capacity of limitations that how many tunnels it can handle. So according to that, vBond will redistribute this list to every edges. So you need to remember this thing that it's a first point of authentication. That is a very important role of vBond, right? And it is require a public IP. If you are doing this in your own premises, then there is a different mechanism that how you can keep, you can define like one-to-one NAT in your firewall, right? And you can provide a private IP to vBond, vMan, and vSmart, and you can do the one-to-one NAT in your environment for the vBond. So there is a different design. Means it's depend. There's a designing book from the Cisco that how you can deploy on your own premises, right?
Oh, yeah. Sachin, there's one question again. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, vBond, vManage. What kind of the device there are?
Okay.
Because I'm
As I
not
already,
getting you.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. As I already told you, these are not a physical devices.
Okay.
These are the images. These are the component and these are the images. These are not physical boxes, right? These are the images. So either you can, if you want to deploy on premises, then you need one physical server, VMware, ESXi. Have you ever worked on the VMware
No,
virtualization? Okay,
I
okay.
haven't worked.
So basically, VMware provide some servers. Those are having higher capacity. Like on that server, suppose you buy one VM server, and that capacity is 60 GB RAM, 28 CPUs, right? So normally company use the VMware physical server, ESXi, you can say. So let me show you something so it will be easy to. So these are the physical server, right? So these are the physical server you will install on your on premises, and then there is a software that vCenter, or through that software in this physical server. Here you can see there is lots of RAM, 3,
I
4,
think you are
5,
Sachin,
only
6.
one
sharing
question.
your
Okay.
SD-WAN
So
PowerPoint
Oh, sorry.
PPT.
is this would be like on the top of like would it be like a acting as a hypervisor or would it be like the
Correct,
appliance?
correct. It's a hypervisor. Let me share my
So
roles.
SD-WAN would be like installed as an hypervisor on the EXI host, right?
No, 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 not a hypervisor. Uh, suppose it's an only just an image. Normally you buy one physical server, right, in your company, and you deploy when you, for example, just forget about the SD-WAN. Normally you have the server in your company. How do those are working? You have one physical server, right? Then you built one VMs over there. We called VM. right? Under the one VM, you deploy one Windows, you will install one images Windows Server 2013 or 10, 15, whatever the latest is running, right? You will install that image. Then you will install your application under that image. So whenever you build any VMware, any VMs in any physical server, whenever you will build, it will ask you that how many RAM you will require, how many processor you will require for this VM. So suppose you want to deploy a very small server. So you will deploy one VM. Under this VM, it will ask you how many interface you will require. 1, 2, 3. You will define that. You will define, okay, I will require 15 GB RAM only out of 60. My server is having capacity of 60. 15 GB RAM. Okay, how many processor you will require? You will define 8 processor. And which images you will deploy. Then on the next section, you will select the images. Okay, I will use this Windows Server. So that's how when you are deploying these SD-WAN images in your physical server, then you need to select your images, vBond, vManage, vSmart, and images you are deploying. So according to that, you define your memory, a processor, then you will select your image and you will deploy that VM in your physical server. That's how you can deploy all three images in your physical server, right? And those all three should have reachability. Here you can see that this is the example of this one. This is the physical server. There is the ESXi, right? Above the ESXi, actually this is the hypervisor. In this ESXi
So
hypervisor, you will build your VMs.
understood. Like we
Then
would
you
be
will host
building
your
it.
app. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah. So under this physical server, this is the hypervisor, ESXi, VMware ESXi. Then you will build your VMs. Under the VMs, you will put these images, and then you will host your. If you are deploying your servers, then you can deploy your apps in your current environment, whatever you are using nowadays. But if you will talk about in terms of SD-WAN, then you will deploy these VMs. Under these VMs, you will deploy your SD-WAN images. And that's how you can imagine this first one is vBond, vSmart, vManage. And that's how you can deploy in your physical environment. That's how it works. So this same concept on premises. And in AWS, normally whenever like you deploy you are able to see my screen right now. I am sharing my whole desktop now.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So in this AWS cloud or Azure cloud, the same concept like VMs, containers, where you want to deploy. So you can install these images. You will provide interface, IPs. So these are some different concepts, right? So that's how you can deploy this one. These are two methodologies you can use. Okay. So vBond we already covered.
Hey Sachin, one query.
Yeah.
Now we have got those four components, vManage, Bond, Smart, and Edge devices.
Mhm.
Now you said the vBond is the first point of authentication, right?
Mhm.
That means every Viptela device has to authenticate and register itself to vBond, including vManage, vSmart, and vEdge routers, right?
Correct.
Now, how does that vBond connects to each and every, now
Yeah,
that means that
yeah.
that really means that there will be a connection towards from vBond to vManage and vSmart
Correct.
controllers and vRouter.
Correct.
Now, when this connection is happening, what kind of a traffic? I mean, let's say now vEdge router wants
I
to
got it.
have some.
I got it. I got it. Where are you coming from? Let's be patient and we will cover all the things step by step. So first we will cover the functionality of these components. Then later on we will discuss about the connectivity, reachability, and all the things we will cover in our lab. How it's authenticate, how the certificate exchange, what IP we will require, how it's do the netting. So we will cover all the things. I know that what is your question? How this vBond knows to vManage, vSmart, and how the vEdge will know the vBond, and how it's authenticated. You are the part of my organization. So those are all questions we will cover later on. First, we will cover step by step on the components, because if you will directly jump into that, then your next question will be related to that one. So we will maybe lose our flow. And right, okay, we will cover that one. I noted your question. Okay, so we'll cover the vBond. Now it's a vManage, so it's a single pane of glass for day 0, day 1, and day 2 operations. It also provides you the real-time alerting, right? And centralized provisioning. So single pane of glass, you can do the all the configuration from centralized dashboard, right? You can make your configuration standard, and it's very easy to deploy, right? It helps you to easy to change, right? And also support the REST API and CLI method and syslog and SNMP. If you want to collect your log, then you can integrate the syslog with the vManage, and SNMP also you can configure, right? So that's how you can use. So basically it helps you all the for day 0, day 1, day 2 operation, and all the logs, events, and all the things you need to do from the vManage only. You will not do any configuration on the vSmart, except in starting when you are making the first time connectivity. When you are introducing your vSmart, vManage, and vBond first time, and you are creating connection between them, that's the only thing you need to do the configuration. Otherwise, in your day-to-day operations, configuration, management, monitoring, whatever you will perform on the vManage only, right? You will not touch the vSmart, and even you will not touch the vBond. It's a one-time activity, first time you need to do. Okay. So now if you talk about the vSmart, it's basically the centralized brain of the solution. It provides all the routing information to all the edges. So, and it establishes the OMP peering. Basically, OMP is a overlay management protocol, right? So it creates one OMP tunnel with every edge, and it implement the control plane policies such as service chaining, traffic engineering, or you want to define a different topology like hub and spoke you want to use. By default, this SD-WAN is having full mesh, but if you want to create this hub and spoke, you can define different control policy, like you want that this site should go to the internet directly, this site should not communicate to this site only communicate to data center 1, and suppose this edge only first prefer the, suppose you have two WAN circuit at site, one is MPLS, one is internet, and you want that, okay, this application is very critical for me, and I know that internet may have some blips, but MPLS not, MPLS is stable. So if you want define different kind of policy, that MPLS will be preferred for this application. So all the policies, control policies, data policies, you can define, right? And on the vManage, but vSmart is responsible to apply those policies on the edges, or if you are applying the centralized policy, not localized policy, then it will create one routing table, it will modify its routing table, and that information it will share to all edges, that now this policy is there, now you need to prefer this link, and this is the way that how you can prefer, you can save this routing table. So these edges is just a data plane, right? And so it also reduces this kind of complexity, right? You can make the standard from centralized point, this single pane of glass vManage. So it also help, and it distribute the connectivity information between the edges. Suppose new site has been introduced, right? So give me 1 minute, I will back. Give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry guys. There is some. Okay, so this vSmart distribute the connectivity information between the edges. For example, this site is introduced with new link, or this edge is just introduced in a fabric. So it will have some MPLS link or maybe the to internet link. So how this edge will know that this site is live on the site? So it will redistribute this information to the vSmart, and then vSmart redistribute this connected information to the other edge. So we will discuss, we will show in the lab that how it is distribute, how it knows, what are the some parameters, how it's know the next hop. There's some different parameters. Okay, and so orchestrate secure data plane connected between edges means when it provides the information. So according to that, these two edges will create an IPsec tunnel, right, through those keys, because first time if this left, this vEdge does not know that how can I create the tunnel with other edges. So it will have some encryption key that will be redistributed to vSmart, and then vSmart redistribute to the edge, right? And that's how they will create a one secure tunnel. Okay, so this is.
Sachin,
Mhm.
OMP pairing, what difference between normal pairing and OMP pairing then?
OMP pairing is use a overlay management protocol. It's creating
Okay,
OMP tunnels. Yeah.
okay,
Okay. Normal tunnels you create on the with the edge through the IPsec tunnel, right?
okay,
So
okay.
okay. So OMP pairing basically it send the OMP update from the edges to the from the vSmart to the edges. Every edge will get a receive the like a OMP
Means
update
it
from
like as a
vSmart.
plain text? It like as a plain text or what?
Plain text means no, it's a
Mm,
routing table. It will send.
okay, routing
It
table.
will be encrypted. It will be encrypted method, but it will use a overlay management protocol, right?
Protocol.
Okay. So if you talk about the edges, so it's like a vManage router. It's provide secure data plane with remote vEdge routers. Establish secure control plane with vSmart controllers. So secure control plane means this, it will create a OMP tunnel with the vSmart, right? And it will get the updated routing table from the vSmart. So it implement the data plane application routing policy. So all as we already discussed that this is only data plane. So whatever routing policy we are configuring on the vSmart. So vSmart some policies will modify the routing table, and that routing table will push to the edges. Some policy is a localized policy. That policy will directly push from the vSmart to the edge, and edge will behave according to that localized policy. So we'll discuss later on when we will discuss the policies, how those works. And it also export the performance statistics. It export all the performance statistics to the edges, sorry, to vManage. And according to that, vManage will show you the graphs that what are the utilization of this link, what application is at site, what application user are using, which user are using, how much bandwidth. So this kind of performance statistics it share with the vManage, right? And we can use the OSPF, BGP, and VRRP. HSRP is still not there. There's a now Cisco introduced latest image you can use with the ISR router, and so on that one you can use HSRP. They just introduced that one. So time to time Cisco update their iOS, right? But in the edge, vEdges, we normally call vEdge, Cisco vEdge. They have different models, but on Cisco vEdge you cannot use the HSRP. It supports zero touch deployment, means
Um,
any.
Sachin, sorry to interrupt. You say that this entire SD-WAN fabric can use OSPF, BGP, and VRRP, or you are saying that only
No, no,
edge
no, no,
device,
no, no,
VH
no. Edge,
devices?
edge. I'm talking about the LAN routing protocols. Edge,
Hmm.
and here we are discussing the edge. So only edge on the LAN side, we can use the OSPF, BGP, and VRRP protocol,
Okay,
right?
the fabric only uses a OMP, right?
Yeah. It's only the OMP protocol. And physical or virtual means there is a two type we can deploy this edge. I physical like there's a model And virtually we can also deploy, like just we deploy the vSmart, vManage, vBond, so that vEdge is also having its own image, and in our lab we will deploy in a virtual form in EVNG, right? So there's a two way that we can deploy, physically or virtually. Like and subscribe my channel and share with those guys who want to learn SD-WAN. Thank you so much.